How you doing, everybody? Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer. Welcome to Game Preview here from PNC Studios at Hallis Hall. Already in week 3 of this regular season. Another trip for the Bears. They go into Cleveland, First Energy Stadium, to take on the 1-1 Browns and Baker Mayfield and Myles Garrett. And the fellas will break it all down. First, a look back at the Bears' win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Now 9 consecutive wins for the Bears in the AFC North. A rugged division, no question about it. They like to run the ball and they like to play some good defense. So we'll see some of that from the Cleveland Browns. But let's break it down because you got to start at the defense. The defense ruled the day for the Bears. They were at it from the moment they got on the field defensively. 9 hits on the quarterback, 4 sacks, 4 takeaways, and a touchdown.
You know, one thing that a fast start by the Bears offensively kind of gave some freedom to the Bears defense to be aggressive, to play fast, to maybe not necessarily take chances, but use a variety of players at or near the line of scrimmage that could have an impact in the game.
Oh, the big thing is the Bears have not traditionally played on the lead in recent vintage. Right. So you played on the lead. That touchdown drive, engineered by Andy Dalton, and a great throw and a great catch by Allen Robinson on a great route in congested area in the red zone, they never trailed the rest of the day.
That's such a key ingredient to what you can do defensively because you have that support by the offense. And then you have a good kickoff coverage opportunity, give them bad field position, and then that increases your opportunity. And then you got the support of the Bears crowd that make it really dysfunctional for the opponent when they're trying to verbally use their signals with the crowd support.
6 tackles for loss and 8 pass breakups. A tip of the cap to Sean Desai, who got the game ball from head coach Matt Nagy for the rebound effort from the Rams game. A big difference against Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, a guy that's hard to turn over. He does not throw interceptions. He threw 3 interceptions in 3 consecutive passes at one point. But I love the different coverages. You really never knew. And it was fun to watch the tape again because of the different types of setups they had.
And now you're talking about what they were able to do in creative situations in the back end of the talent and being able to use a variety of athletes. They were able to do the same up front. And so I think every time the offensive line broke the huddle and they looked at the line of scrimmage, they were identifying and guessing at times.
All right, Tommy, some guys we got to really talk about in detail for their efforts because it kind of got lost in the big Roquan Smith interception return for a touchdown. That was a beauty from start to finish. But against these Cleveland Browns and what we're going to be seeing, everybody's talking already about Jaylon Johnson. Jaylon Johnson is off to a great start. Pro Football Focus has him the #1 rated cover corner right now through 2 weeks of the season. Small sample size indeed, but he started this way last year as well with pass breakups. Leads the league with 5 pass breakups already in 2 games. 4 last week against Cincinnati. I think he's really starting to come into his own. He is so focused. You can hear him. It's like no nonsense right now, and he got his first career interception last week.
Well, you know, I'm kind of confused. Why did both quarterbacks go at him first in the last 2 weeks? Are they testing Jaylon Johnson the most?
I mean, it's the #1 receiver. He's
right.
taken in.
But, you know, I'm just saying is that, you know, you have another cornerback over there that we don't know a lot about yet, but he's doing a nice job in Kindle Vildor. So these 2 quarterbacks, they immediately go after Jaylon Johnson. Then he's up to the task. And then on his interception, it was the most fundamentally perfect played footballs in the game, and he, you know, resulted in an interception. So, listen, man, I think every time we get to see Jaylon Johnson speak at a podium, you really respect what he has to say.
I mean, we prepared hard all week. And I mean, honestly, our preparation didn't really change. It was just being more detailed-oriented as best we can. But, I mean, just this week, it was just about giving them different looks. I mean, Burrow is a good quarterback, but he's also young as well. I mean, just switching it up, being on the same page, communicating, and just giving them different looks. I mean, it paid off for us.
Well, here comes another young quarterback, Baker Mayfield. He's got moxie, that OU. You can't forget what he did at OU at Oklahoma, and he's done a nice job under Kevin Stefanski. We're talking play-action city right here. And a mobile quarterback when he's moving in and around the pocket. Did have a left shoulder MRI this week. It's okay, non-throwing shoulder. After an interception, he made a tackle, and it popped out. Something to watch, though, and the Bears certainly will have that circled in terms of trying to pressure that quarterback because, like all quarterbacks, with pressure in his face, he's not as efficient, but he's still very dangerous.
He's not a big guy, but he runs well. His best compliment at the quarterback position is the running game he has. Because when you have to respect that 2-headed monster that they have, it gives them a really great deception at the line of scrimmage to incorporate the play action passes, and then you get the tight ends involved. A lot what the Bears have to do. I think the tight ends 11 catches for 100+ yards last week. So again, Baker Mayfield, great, yeah, but he's a part of the supporting cast. He doesn't do it individually.
Yeah, 11 for 107 for that group of tight ends, and there are a bunch of good ones. Harrison Bryant, a big day. David Njoku as well. The running game. So Kareem Hunt, certainly familiar to Matt Nagy from his days in Kansas City, a native Clevelander. He's the second back. I think it's Thunder. It's not Thunder and Lightning, it's Thunder.
Right.
But Nick Chubb is something else. Do you realize, and you're not a big stats guy, but when a stat like this sticks out, I know you're going to love it. In the fourth quarter last season, Nick Chubb averaged 10 yards a carry. Now put that into context. He averaged 10 yards a carry. For his career, he's averaged over 5 yards a carry. This guy gets the most of his, people are upset in Cleveland apparently. He only had 11 carries for 95 yards last week, but they got to keep him fresh over 17 games. The guy is averaging chunks of yards.
Well, this is kind of 2 weeks trouble because last week in the broadcast you talked about how much better Joe Mixon gets in the fourth quarter. Now here we are, the next AFC opponent, and you're talking about
yards.
Chubb. Right. You're talking about Chubb and what he's like in the fourth quarter. But again, you got to respect these backs, and I think it's going to be a great challenge for the defensive front and the linebackers of the Bears because you're never going to face a fatigued opponent. You're going to have two fresh running backs that are going to be able to catch balls out of the backfield. They'll stand up there and block if they have to, but man, these guys are tackle breakers, and so that's what the Bears are going to have to be prepared for.
The big news coming out of Cleveland, yes, Jarvis Landry suffered what appears to be an MCL injury. He is week to week, according to Kevin Stefanski. He is their heart and soul on offense. He is the guy that keeps things going, and he's a great weapon for Baker Mayfield. He leans on him on third down. But here comes Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham appears to be ready to go. Tore his ACL after Week 7 last season. He has not had tremendous success so far in Cleveland in his 19 months there, but he's a dangerous player, and he's an explosive player. It's a guy to watch.
Yeah, but I'm still reluctant to believe this guy can come in off of that type of injury and immediately have an impact. I know he's a great athlete. One LSU guy for the next. They saw one last week in Jamar Chase. So, these receivers are all over the league. But, Jeff, recovery, timing, that whole in the small minor details to be a successful offense, you have to have reps. And I don't know how many full speed 100% reps they have because he has not played in a game yet. Practice is not the same as games.
All right, we have bypassed the most important part of the Cleveland Browns, talking to an offensive lineman here. Their offensive line is outstanding.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really good group, and that's part of the reason Nick Chubb gets 5 yards a carry and that Baker Mayfield can make plays down the field.
Yeah, I mean, they're a powerful group. They're willing to accept their responsibility. They know that it's run game, play action, then downfield passing. If you can take away one of their elements of success, say it's putting an uneasy amount of pressure on Baker Mayfield if he does have some soreness in the shoulder. If Odell Beckham is not contributing to the wide receiver position, what they really need to run this offense, then you better pay attention to the tight end. So you have to make this offense dysfunctional in some way, shape, or form.
Let's flip it to the defense of the Browns. They did a complete makeover, really. They have a centerpiece, though, in Myles Garrett, another one of the great pass rushers in the National Football League.
Dude's legit, 6'5", 272. He's got great bend. He's got great feet. He's got great power. He's got great desire. So he is a really nice, he's not a centerpiece because he plays on the outside. However, I think he is the key ingredient in their defensive line. But they got a couple Maliks up front that
Malik
can
McDowell
play.
Is good.
He is good, man. This guy is legitimate defensive tackle. They faced a good one with the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think the Bears' offensive line should be able to pick up right where they left off and go in there and face this defense.
Whoever's playing quarterback for the Bears here in Week 3, how will that affect things?
Well, you have a safety that's the size of a linebacker. You got to pay attention to where these guys line up. You have to make sure that your confidence in your cadence going to the line of scrimmage, because I think this will be one of the most hostile environments that we will see all year long. They're not going to sell a lot of tickets to Bears fans. Even though it's close enough, this is a Cleveland packed stadium.
Big challenge for the Bears on the road. They're already big underdogs in this one. Certainly Matt Nagy's told the fellas about that one already.
Hey, you can't avoid it. It's, everybody hears about it, but I think the Bears have to take the momentum that they built this past week against Cincinnati and to carry it to Cleveland with them. And hey, let's shine out there. That's what you're going to Cleveland for.
They do control the clock, too. 35.5 minutes of possession time against Houston. All right, that's going to wrap us up. Hope you enjoy our broadcast. We'll bring it to you with a 9 a.m. pregame and a noon kickoff on News Radio 105.9 WBBM. For Tom Thayer, I'm Jeff Joniak. Thank you so much for watching.